Hi, my name is Austin Childress. I am the Director of Education here at Carabello Coffee in Newport, Kentucky. This video is brought to you by Roasty Coffee. Today, I'm going to be sharing my Aeropress recipe with you. An Aeropress is one of my favorite brewing devices for many reasons, but a little bit of history on it. So, it was actually invented in 2005 by an engineer at Aeropress Plastics. He traveled a lot for work and was constantly taking brewing equipment with him and having it break as he was traveling, or it was too heavy or whatever, and he thought, why don't I make something that's lightweight and extremely durable out of plastic? So that's how we got the Aeropress. It's composed of just 3 parts. So there is this cap here that will hold our paper filter, which is just this little piece, fits directly down into it. That's what we're gonna do for our filter. And then it has the main cylinder that's going to hold all of your coffee. It has these wonderful markers so that you know the volume that you're pouring to each time. And then it has the plunger piece. So the idea behind this is you're kind of combining a French press where you're gonna have that full immersion steeping of just the grounds and the water sitting together, with a little bit of pressure like what you would get in an espresso machine. So it's not gonna be exactly like espresso, but it implies a little bit of pressure. My recipe for this, we're gonna start by just clipping the filter down there onto the bottom, just twists on, set that onto your cup, and I'm gonna pour a little bit of water, just kind of rotate this. The goal behind this is just to make sure that if there's any residual papery taste in that filter, that gets out of there. But most importantly, it's gonna preheat the entire vessel so that when we go to brew, it's gonna maintain our brew bed temperature the entire time and make for an even extraction. All right, so next, I'm gonna weigh out. I have 18 grams of coffee here. But what I love is that this is super easy to travel with because it also gives you a measuring scoop that comes with the Aeropress. If you take this and do basically 1.5 scoops of ground coffee, that'll land you around 18 grams of coffee. So that's how I go about it if I don't have a scale handy. Now I'm gonna grind up my coffee. It's gonna be on a medium fine grind, so maybe not as fine as an espresso and not as coarse as a pour over. It's kind of in between those two. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind it up, and then we're gonna brew our coffee. All right, so once you have rinsed your filter, you need to make sure you get rid of the water that you rinsed with. Now that you've got your ground coffee, it comes with a funnel. Just drop that on there, and the ground coffee is gonna go directly into there. Now we're ready to brew. So obviously I have mine on a scale, but you can just go by these numbers. So I'm gonna pour to 250 grams of water, which is gonna end up being just about where that 4 is. So if you don't have a scale, you're gonna do 1.5 scoops of ground coffee, fill it up to that 4, and you're ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna do a bloom pour, which means I'm just getting everything wet, pouring in about 40 grams, and then I'm going to take the paddle that comes with it and just give it a little stir, kind of back and forth about 3 times. I'm gonna wait 15 seconds, and then I'm gonna pour as fast as I can to get to my total volume, because we want all of the coffee and all of the water to sit together as long as possible so it gets really well extracted. Alrighty, so I'm pouring to my 250, which is right where that 4 is, and I'm gonna stick this in and go 1, 2, 3 little stirs in there, and then take your plunger, kind of put it on at an angle, and give a slight tug upwards. So what this has done is it has actually caused suction to keep the coffee from dripping out the bottom. So all of the coffee and water is stuck right in that cylinder there. So we're gonna set that and let it steep until about 1.5 minutes. Once that minute and a half has come around, I'm gonna take it off the scale, and I'm just gonna apply gentle, steady pressure downward until the plunger has hit the bottom of the brew cylinder. So we're at a minute and a half, so I'm gonna take my cup off of this, and I'm gonna begin plunging. So just nice and easy, straight down. If you feel like you have to exert a bunch of force onto it, odds are it's probably a little bit too fine. You never want to be out of control. I've seen some people just get really into it, turn red in the face, and then the cup slips out from underneath them. So just nice and easy and controlled. And you should be done plunging by about 2 minutes and 10 seconds, somewhere in there. You'll hear a little bit of air squeak out as you get to the end. And then you just flip this over, and there's your cup of coffee. It's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be a little bit more full-bodied, maybe than your traditional drip cup of coffee, but really nice and balanced and sweet. Cheers.